Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwa. The Association of Bankers has kicked against the decision by the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System GIPS to end fee waivers granted to customers who use the GIPS Instant Pay Mobile Money Interoperability and ACH Direct Credit to transact business. The Bankers Association says any unilateral withdrawal of the waivers by GIPS during the period of the COVID-19 pandemic will be detrimental to their image and credibility, that is, of the banking sector. Meanwhile, a section of the public equally unhappy about this new development. They say the move may defeat government's agenda of going cashless.
I feel like it was a good initiative to take away the charges, but bringing it back, yes, because right now we are trying to save the economy. So if you have been able to take away the charges to make transaction easy and trying to bring it back, and we are also in an election year, I feel like yes, it's really going to affect business because now the rate at which you can handle money is so risky. So we prefer to send money through electronic devices. And bringing back the charges, it will discourage people to do more of that.
In the past, we've realized that when people go to the shops to send monies, they already complain that the charges that they take from them is too much. They sometimes wish that from 100 cedis and below, you don't take anything. That is what they have wished in the past. And now that the government took it off, I think it's helping. That is helping. So I think reintroducing it won't help. I would wish it is taken off totally.
For the government to initiate the tax back again into that mobile money system, I would say it's something good because at least the government needs a little taxes to do certain things, especially in this pandemic era. But the other way around, I will not take that one too as necessary because sometimes the money you are having is not even enough for you to get certain things. So I think they should hold on for a little while. Then we see how the economy goes. When we are stable with it, then you can bring back that taxes. So far as the tax and being put into good use, I think it's a good idea to bring it back.
I think introducing charges will be a deterrent because around this time, people are not even making more income. So if you also try to charge them more, it becomes a deterrent to the community. So I will not encourage that.
The president needs to make a categorical statement. Say, listen, from now, the next 6 months, the next 2 months, the next 3 months. But when he said it, he didn't give any timelines. He just said it. So he can even come back the next day and withdraw it. You understand? He needs to come back again, give us a timeline. From today's date to maybe October, November, so and so date, when you are involved in the transaction because he wants to run the cashless system, no payment. Then we know, okay, this is what we are into. When you go there, he said, no, there's a law that says that from this date, so and so date, you are not paying. But what it was just a blanket statement. Okay, you are not paying. That's all. That is not fair.
Some reactions there from the public. That's it for business. We have some breaking news right after this break.
And some news just coming in right now is that the Supreme Court, by a majority decision, has held that Martin Amidu can continue as Special Prosecutor. Let's go to the phone lines now and speak with my colleague, court correspondent Joseph Akabley, for more on this. Joseph, what is the court's decision, the majority decision, saying that regardless of his age, Martin Amidu can continue to occupy that office?
One of the major issues that came up relates to whether the office should be considered as a public office. And one of the arguments that the Attorney General's office that defended this particular case said was that the office is a specialized agency, and so the court is responding that the retirement age of required public officers does not apply to that particular office, and so it proceeded to dismiss it. The majority decision in terms of those who ruled that the case be dismissed includes Chief Justice Kwesi Enin-Yeboah, Justices Bafo Boni, Sulik Madegbe, Professor Shipote and Amegacha, and Kwal Agnes Doji, on the other hand, together with Justice Badegbe dissented. And so that makes it 5-2, and they dismiss the matter.
Just a little recap, Joseph. What was the case of the former Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni?
His point had been that at the time that President Akufo-Addo named Martin Amidu as special prosecutor, he was beyond the 60 years, which is the retirement age of public officers. And so he makes the point that once his office is an office that takes money from the consolidated fund, then it's a public office, which is first the definition of a public office. And so if you are beyond the age of 60 years, then you cannot hold any public office. And so as far as it's concerned, Martin Amidu is not qualified to be special prosecutor. And so he had asked that first the court withhold the appointment. In fact, the case was filed at the time that his name was announced as the special prosecutor. And so we said that they should have terminated this since he has been sworn in now. That appointment should have been terminated and have another person who is less than 60 years of age appointed to take over that office. But the court has disagreed.
Now, you have been speaking with Dr. Dominic Ayene on his reaction to the court's decision. We can hear him now.
I say I am extremely surprised by the decision of the court today, dismissing my writ by 5 to majority in favor of the Attorney General. As you would all recall, this was a writ challenging the appointment of Mr. Martin Amidu as a special prosecutor, and the basic argument of the writ was that Mr. Martin Amidu, at the time of his appointment, was 66 years old. And by the Constitution, especially in Article 199 of the Constitution, I argue that he is above the age for appointment into the public service. And my point was that the office of the Special Prosecutor falls squarely within the public services of Ghana. And at the age of 66, he was above the mandatory age of retirement of 60, and then also the voluntary age of appointment on contract of 65. And so I'm at a loss as to why the court today said that, my writ has been dismissed. But the court didn't give any reasons, and said that we could apply for the reasons given by the judges in the majority and the minority from the registry of the court. So until then, I'm unable to say why. Yes, I must say I am extremely surprised.
And so that is Dr. Dominic Ayene, who filed the issue at the Supreme Court. Joseph is still with me on the line. Joseph, I wonder what the reasons were for those judges who dissented. What exactly are their reasons?
All those are part of the full judgment that the court says will be available tomorrow. And so we're expecting that once we're able to get a judgment tomorrow, we understand what thinking went into the court's decision to classify the office as not being a public office, and also why 2 other justices were of the view that, this is not a matter that has to do, it has to do with a public office, and so he should have been removed from office. And so all those are fine details that once the decision comes, we'll get access to. Was
Mr. Amidu himself in court today?
No, in fact, in the early days of the case, when the case was filed, Mr. Amidu was named as a defendant in this particular matter, but the court struck him out as the defendant. The court was of the view that it's a case that the Attorney General should be able to defend because it relates to the office and not related to the individual per se. There's questions being raised of an appointment that has been done by the executive. So the court doesn't think a public office or someone who has been appointed to serve in an office should be defending this particular matter. And so the Attorney General's office defended Mr. Amidu in this particular matter and argued that indeed he was eligible to hold office as special prosecutor.
And have we heard from the AG's office already?
We haven't got comments from the AG's office yet.
Joseph, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed on this story that has just come in, that the Supreme Court has held Martin Amidu can't continue to hold the office of Special Prosecutor. That's it for News Desk. Up next is JoyNews Interactive with Nigel. Stay tuned in.